Hundreds of people, some in their Sunday best, crammed into Manger Square to watch the massive Bethlehem Christmas tree towering over them. Sy Gertner said that the celebrations came at a necessary time. People need to release some of the pressure they felt, she said. That pressure was from worry over what's happening to Palestinians during the war in Gaza. Those in Bethlehem today said they will dare to allow themselves some hope this Christmas. Hadil Al-Shalchi, NPR News, Bethlehem.
Crime rates appear to have fallen nationwide this year based on early data from 2025. NPR's Meg Anderson has more on what the numbers show.
I looked primarily at this database called the Real-Time Crime Index. It's from this firm Datalytics. They use data from nearly 600 jurisdictions around the country. Crime is down by a lot in pretty much every category, according to them. So murders are down by around 20% this year. Violent crime in general, things like rape, robbery, aggravated assault are also down. And property crimes are down too, including burglaries and motor vehicle theft. And these crime declines happen pretty much everywhere, right? The Midwest, the South, the Northeast, the West. One analyst told me it's the most promising drop he's seen in nearly 30 years.
That's NPR's Meg Anderson reporting. This is NPR News in Washington.
And from the GBH Radio Newsroom in Boston, I'm Judy Ewell. State health officials are warning about possible measles exposure in and around Boston this month. The State Department of Public Health says an out-of-state visitor who spent time in Boston and Westboro has been diagnosed with measles, and they may have exposed others to the virus at multiple locations, including at Logan Airport on December 11th and 12th. The state is now working with the CDC to try to locate anybody who may have been exposed. Health officials say the risk to most people in Massachusetts is low because the state has a very high vaccination rate. They're asking anybody who thinks they may have been exposed to call first before visiting their doctor or an emergency room. We have new details on the house fire in Needham this morning. Fire officials say one person is unaccounted for. 2 other people inside the home made it out safely. Needham's Fire Chief Thomas Conroy says some 75 firefighters responded to the incident. The State Fire Marshal John Devine says crews have not been able to get inside the building because the fire is still active, and they'll probably be on the scene all day. State and local police are investigating after 2 people were killed in a car crash following a funeral at the Armenian Memorial Church in Watertown yesterday. Police say the couple was traveling from the cemetery to the Mercy Meal when the fatal crash occurred. The church's music director, June Baboyan, says the late couple was very loved.
They're so close, they're so supportive of one another, always there, and even the person who passed away. He didn't have any children, but everybody who was there, it was like they were all her children.
Police have not released the victims' names. Sun and clouds for your Christmas Eve, a slight chance of showers. Right now, 37, sunny in Boston.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the Lemelson Foundation, working to harness the power of invention and innovation to accelerate climate action and improve lives around the world. Learn more at lemelson.org. This is NPR.
Hey, it's Jim Browdy. I am Marjorie Egan. You are listening to BPR and GBH and NEPM. Inexplicably, we are here live at the Boston Public Library and streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. We're on tape for our annual holiday pause starting at 1 o'clock today. Here's the deal. The show is going to be live from 11 to 1, and then we're going to do best of from 1 to 2. And at the end of the 12 o'clock hour, we have a special treat, Jim. All of our finest bloopers, goof-ups, mistakes, getting stuff wrong that we've done over the years.
I'm looking forward to that.
You're looking forward to that. I know you're going to think most of it is me, but actually some of it will be you.
We'll see about that.
And the question is, Jim, why are we working today, Jim?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Would you like to tell us how we ended up?
Well, there are 2 reasons.
No one else is here. We have people that came down to the audience, which is very nice.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for coming. But our staff, Jared's not here. The Culture Show is not here. Jared's not here. Jim had me up last night for 2 hours wrapping all these little gifts. I had to put all these little gifts in these.
I didn't force you to do it. I urged you to do it.
About 2 hours. I'm going to panic because I got to cook dinner today. And we came today to give out all the gifts to our staff. And you know what?
Nobody's here.
Okay,
fine. Let me answer your question briefly because I have important business we have to do with our listeners. One, we are working today because we, unlike a lot of other people in this business, have a deep commitment to our listening audience. That's number one. One of us does.
Jim
anyway,
thought Boston
and number
couldn't
2,
make it without
Jamie,
him.
that was not a joke. That was a serious comment. And secondly, You know, I've said to you, how long? We do radio 26 years.
Yes.
You know, I've said to you every year, any day the stock market is open, we are open. That is our guiding principle.
Oh, the president did something I can get behind, though. I'm very excited about this. He gave most of the federal government, not the post office people.
It's a federal holiday.
Not just the Christmas Day, but today, Christmas Eve, and Friday, the day after Christmas. So that was a very generous thing on behalf of the president.
Yeah, but it's like so typical, with all due respect to you, because we're trying to be upbeat today, you only tell half the story. And the people who are taking advantage of the extra day off will all be deported at the end of the day. Okay, so here the day. We're starting the show with a holiday hotline of
holiday
sorts.
hotline.
I said that. 877-301-8970. It's been a year. Oh, no, please. Thank you.
Oh, no, I love the bells.
Okay, do it again. It's been a year, and we want to check. It's enough. We've been a check-in with all of you about it. Thank you.
Okay.
We know it's been tough for a lot of people to get into the holiday spirit this year with everything going on in the world around us. I may or may not have shouted, Marjorie was there, bah humbug, at a group of carolers just yesterday, but that's besides the point. So the lines are open one last time. Do we make this clear? We're off next week for 2025. The number is 877-301-8970. Call or text. It's sort of a Christmas/holiday potpourri.
That's right.
We want your thoughts on this helter-skelter holiday season. Do you have everything under control? Do you need some last-minute advice?
That's right. Are you calm?
Think of who?
Are you calm?
Think of me and Marjorie as sort of Mr. and Mrs. Butterball, the Butterball hotline.
Yep.
Here to offer tips and tricks for how to survive the next few days of your family, how to cook that tenderloin that Marjorie's going to try to do, and whatever else. Give us your reflection. You have?
Yes.
How was that?
Well, it's always an adventure.
Okay,
Let's
fine.
put it that way.
Give us your reflections.
I
And
have
by
a
the
new
way,
meat thermometer this year.
Oh, that's great. That's good. That's really good. So, you know how to read it? You know where it is? Have you lost it?
I just bought it.
Okay, here's the deal. We want your reflections on the year and the year to come, but we're not taking down stuff today for the most part. We're going to try to be upbeat.
Yes, we are.
What silver linings are you bringing in 2026? And we're going to read an anonymous texter in a second, sort of a holiday grab bag. And since Marjorie didn't allow me to do all the subjects you wanted us to do, you can call about holiday tipping. I would say no one knows more about holiday tipping than I do.
Yep.
White versus colorful Christmas lights. You actually added.
There's a new twist.
Yeah, what is the new twist?
Because a lot of the lights now, if you get the battery ones, you know, there's different positions they can be in. They can be twinkling on and off.
Yeah.
Half of them can be twinkling at one time. The other half can be twinkling at the other time. So it's kind of like, or they're all twinkling at the same time. Or do you want them just steady? I mean, you have to make that decision for the lights that you have.
Okay, great.
They go on and off.
Okay, that's nice.
Or they just stay the same. Do you have a preference for that?
No. 877-301-8970. You know, actually, I do. I don't like flashing lights. I like constant. By the way, lights are one of the great things ever.
They are.
Out in the world, in your house, on your tree.
Most people do like the white lights.
Do you like neon? It's a yes or no question.
No, you know what I like, which are really hard to find?
No, I
don't. The warm white lights. Now they're all kind of this gray white, really bright white lights, and then you go to the store and they say warm white. You get them home and they're not warm white.
How much does that upset you?
It's very upsetting.
It's like a bait and switch kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very, very upsetting.
Now,
we have some great clips to get people in the mood.
We do. We'll get one.
Here's one. Here's you mentioned being Scrooge, Jim. Well, here's Scrooge's theme for the 1992 classic, The Muppet Christmas Carol, with little alterations by our staff. Here it is.
When a cold wind blows, it chills you to the bone.
But there's nothing in nature that freezes your heart like years of being alone.
It paints you with indifference like a lady paints with rouge.
And the worst of the worst,
the most hated and cursed,
is the one that we call
Jim Browdy. Jim Browdy. Okay, I mean, is that what that's what these staff people do?
Yeah.
Browdy. Okay, that's enough of that. That is so sad. 87. Okay, enough. 877-301-8970. Marjorie mentioned stress. Because we're concerned about your well-being today, I read a whole story today. If you have suffer from stress on the holidays, there are 3 recommendations that I read. One, you should journal. Okay, that's going to help. You should body map your emotions. What does that even mean?
That
Do you know
means
what it means?
know in your body where your stress is. Like some people, like I notice mine is my shoulders. You
Oh,
know,
really?
if I'm
Is that
chopping
body
vegetables,
mapping?
It's body mapping. You're seeing where your stress is. Mine is in my shoulders. Some people have it in their jaw, or they have it in their stomach.
Okay,
and if what you're supposed to do is understand your physical reactions to emotion is important part of stress management. I thought that was really useful advice.
There's a third piece of advice. Practice breathing techniques.
That's right. It's a box breathing where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. There's a great book called Breathing. I know you're going to make fun of this, but this kind of stuff works. It works on your blood pressure.
No, I'm pro-breathing. Let me be clear. Mary watching on YouTube, by the way, listen to this carefully because you're complaining that we're working today. I forgot I assume that's us. We're going to be on there for the first 2 hours. I am so glad.
We are, but the repeats are really good too. Jamie picks our best ones.
Wait, I'm not done. Tim and Milton. I'm listening while I deliver the mail. Thank you so much for coming in today, Marjorie. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Tim.
And
Thank you very much.
Here is a, what do you do here? Anonymous
Texter.
texter that basically underscores how much people like the moldy BPR chestnuts. Wish you had discussed scented candles during your first hour yesterday when you broadcast in Western Mass. They're welcome like fruitcake in Franklin County, the home of Yankee Candle. Oh, I didn't know that. Yankee Candle and Kringle Candle. I already had 20 full-size jars, and my sister-in-law dropped off another one this morning, and my mom gave me 2 that she was gifted and doesn't want. I don't like them. Don't burn them and get groans if I try to re-gift them. We appreciate them as large employers, but the local market is saturated enough with the candles. That's a rather deep text, actually.
It is. I really like the candles. And you know, one of the things that they were talking about, there was a bunch of techniques for handling stress because it's very stressful for lots of people because they haven't, they're worried they haven't bought the right presents, or they're running out of money, or their credit card is through the roof. You're supposed to prepare responses for stressful moments during the holidays, like if somebody asks, you know, your sister or brother, they come over with their new
I don't have a sister
hug,
or brother, but
whatever you call them, their new sweetheart.
They're not
and
coming
people
over
start
because I don't
asking
have
them.
any.
Okay, well, people.
So I don't really have to worry about it, do I?
Okay, you don't have to worry about it, but other people might, more normal people. And when they say, and when they ask you, you know, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? That's a big one, right?
Yeah,
or they ask you about how come your boyfriend, what happened to your boyfriend? How come your boyfriend broke up with you? So you're supposed to prepare in advance for those stressful situations. And then, if things get really bad, Jim, you need an escape plan.
You do?
Yes, so you can have a safe place in mind ahead of time to go to in the home you're in to get away from the stuff that is upsetting you.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Because I'm not that interested in that. Remember when Levies were in here singing all those songs, the Jewish-themed songs? One of the things that has stayed with me for the last, I think they were here like 2 weeks ago, when you learned that almost every classic Christmas song was written by a Jew, did that not shock you? From Irving Berlin to Mel Torme.
Yeah.
I mean, is that like surprising to you or no?
Well, I guess Christmas is sort of an overwhelming holiday. You know, it kind of takes over everything. So, I mean.
So you're not surprised?
Well, I think.
Are you troubled?
No. I mean, I think a lot of the Jewish people that are close to me, a lot of them have Christmas trees. It's kind of a celebratory. You're Jewish.
I am?
You're celebrating Christmas.
I am, but I'm not really. I mean, I'm not big time Jewish.
Well,
I'm not a practicing. I'm sort of agnostic.
But a lot of people who are practicing, who belong to temple, who go to temple, they might do a wreath or a Christmas tree too.
Christmas is what it's called. Do you know that?
Christmas.
That's
I love that.
Like the secular thing. By the way, listen to this. Nicole, our colleague, is shocked. The YouTube results so far, the poll, 71% think Jim would make a great Santa Claus. Thank you. Even though Stuart watching on YouTube says Jim is more suited to be bad Santa, which may be true. Now let me explain to you how this works.
Enzo says, or Scrooge. I want to play another song.
Well, before you do that, I want to say something that may not be clear to the listeners. You're actually allowed to call today, even though it is Christmas Eve. What's the number?
877-301-8970. Operators are standing by.
They are?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Listen to this. I love this song. When my kids were little, we played this all the time.
What is it?
This is a song about the grandmother celebrating Christmas.
This is one of the worst songs in the history of the world.
Getting drunk on eggnog, stumbling outside into the snow. Here it is.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandma, we believe she'd been drinking too much eggnog.
Marjorie's so happy if you're watching on YouTube.
To go. But she forgot her medication,
sort of enough, I think, is what it is.
And she staggered out the door into the snow.
You heard enough, Jim?
Okay, now I want to say, even though Marjorie started the show, and she will say repeatedly, I know her well, that she has no idea why we're working today. Tom and Sawana, are you here, Tom and Sawana? They're right there. Thank you. And what they write is, thank you for being at the library today. I am a regular visitor, but my wife typically works on the days you are here. Today she is here. Great way to celebrate the season for us.
There.
That is really kind.
Are. Thank you very much.
Sawana,
hey, nice.
Sawana, Marjorie is the one who didn't want to work today.
Well,
I just want to be clear, okay?
Here's the story. We're on vacation for a while after today.
Yeah, that's not enough for you?
And Jim was concerned that the Boston area would not make it for more than a week.
Without 12 days of me.
Without Jim.
Exactly.
So
and what's wrong? What's the problem with what I just said?
Somehow I think they'll muddle through.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they will.
That's one woman's
Our number
opinion.
is 877-301-8970. We're sort of here to answer your holiday questions, such as they are, on the day before Christmas. How you doing? How do you feel about it? And all the moldy chestnut Jims like to talk about the white lights, the red lights.
There are no tipping questions
Tipping questions, yep. Diane from Georgia.
Hi,
oh, my
Diane.
goodness.
Welcome.
Hi,
How
Diane.
are you?
Hey, I hope you all are having a wonderful season. It sounds like you're in a good mood.
We
Marjorie
are.
is, yes.
We are.
Go ahead.
I know.
Thanks.
I just wondered, you keep, Jim,
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
you keep talking about Marjorie and her cooking and
Yes.
what she's cooking and how she's cooking it, and does she know how?
Yeah.
You haven't said anything about what you're eating. Are you going to the Waffle House?
I am going to the Waffle House as I always do on major holidays. And Diane, I think you and I can connect. Excuse me.
Diane, he's not
cooking.
cooking.
Can I talk to Diane?
I've heard you on the phone all morning ordering your daughter around and telling me what your daughter's
I
going to
never
buy.
order my daughter. My daughter's girlfriend is cooking the whole thing, and she is from Louisiana, and she is a cook extraordinaire. Great Cajun kind of stuff. But the only problem, Diane, and I wasn't going to mention it until you did, dinner is going to be late because we're all going to the Waffle House for a few hours beforehand. Maybe I'll see you there, Diane. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, no, I went this morning. We always go on Christmas Eve morning.
Of course.
And we sit down, and it's just the luck of the draw. And we give a very excessive tip to one Waffle House.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's great.
And then we leave it on the, we leave it on the table, and
that's a good idea.
we leave immediately, and we just feel jolly about ourselves.
Now, Diane, before we wish you a happy Christmas, which we will do, tell us exactly what you had at the Waffle House this morning as a guide for others who plan to be there later today. What was it?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had pork chops.
Pork chops.
I had smothered, covered potatoes.
Oh, you ordered from the healthy part of the menu. Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
What else?
I did have toast.
Toast.
It was just, I didn't put any honey or syrup on it, but I did ask for extra butter.
Of course, why not?
I had coffee.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I know. It was delicious.
Can I tell you, Diane, you are fabulous. Can you call us more often, please?
You've got such a great accent. I love your Georgia accent, Diane. It's great.
Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
Christmas.
you. Have a great Christmas.
You ever been to the Waffle House?
No, I've not been to the Waffle House. I have been to the International House of Pancakes many times, where they have extraordinary pigs in blankets.
Well, you know what the problem is? Can I tell you something about IHOP, if I may?
Nicole loves the Waffle House.
That's fine. IHOP.
IHOP.
When I was younger,
pigs in blankets.
Not much younger, they used to have a whole panoply of flavored syrups.
Yeah.
All of which were equally disgusting, by the way. But there were a lot of them. You go to your basic IHOP now, it's like one syrup container with one kind of basic syrup, which it doesn't do it for me, no?
Jim, I'm sorry about that. Must be difficult.
Chris
for
in
you.
Central Square, which would be Cambridge, where I will be relatively soon. Jim, you may not agree, but the show is at its best when things start to go off the rails, which I would say is every day. I think today might be one of the best ever Happy and merry everything. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Chris in Central Square. Jen from Lewiston, Maine says they got 15 inches of snow up there, so they have a white Christmas, but they're having trouble getting out the door because there's so much snow. They will be unable to use our last-minute shopping advice. Boy, I was all excited last night when we got snow, and then this morning it all was gone. Did you get snow further north?
He shoveled.
Yeah.
Jamie shoveled.
Did you actually have to shovel? That's great. Yeah, I'm a lot of kids get sleds for Christmas.
Oh.
You want them to be able to go sledding sometime this year. 877-301-8999.
You know, one of the fights you and I had through the years was whether or not kids with sleds should be required to wear helmets. And amazingly,
yeah, Jim wanted to put helmets on all the kids.
I didn't want it. I wanted legislation.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to? Listen, thank you. Why would you not want a kid to be wearing a helmet on a sled?
Because it's just too much. You know, I get it in the bicycles. I get it in the scooters. I think, generally speaking, you're going to be okay on your
When my daughter is sledded for the first time, they'd wear helmets and Kevlar suits to make sure they really had a good time.
Okay.
Michelle in wherever you are. Lexington.
Lexington.
Hi, Michelle.
Oh, did it snow in Lexington, Michelle?
Who cares if it's
I do.
Lexington?
Just a little. Just a little.
That's great to hear. Go ahead. Hi.
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 Oh, so is my radio interfering?
No,
we have
an echo problem.
Extraordinarily good call so far.
But you sound great, Michelle, to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I just wanted to say that I'm a nice Jewish girl, but I dated an Italian guy.
Oh.
And at Christmas, he always wanted to play Dominic the Christmas donkey.
Oh. I thought she said dominatrix. Wait, okay, so Dominic, go ahead. And how'd that go? Go ahead.
Well, it's about an Italian dancing donkey.
We know that. We love that song.
And he helps Santa deliver the presents because the hills in Italy are too steep and the reindeer can't get through and blah, blah, blah.
Are you still?
So I just thought you might want to play it.
Are you still together, Michelle, with the Italian that likes the Dominic the Donkey song?
Well, he passed away.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's horrible.
Another matter, do you like Panettone? Do you like Panettone?
It's a little late to be asking that question.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask.
Okay,
we
Michelle,
had a discussion about Panettone.
We really appreciate your call. Thank you. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year and all that sort of stuff. Now, okay, fine. No, don't do this to us. Okay, good. Now, let me just say.
Another favorite song.
No, before we do that, we said only good news, at least for this portion of the show. Here's David texting. Great news. There are fewer than 400 days until impeachment proceedings can start, assuming next fall's elections go right. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, we've tried impeachment twice, Jim.
We was impeached twice.
We didn't get very far.
Just wasn't convicted.
Okay, here's another for people that used to like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Here is the song. Here is the little Christmas song from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Christmas Don't Be Late.
This is also enough of this already. Okay, that's plenty of that. Now, I ask you this every year. Is one of the Chipmunks from Worcester, or do I have that wrong? Jamie, can you check that for the dreaded local angle? I think one of them is from
They're a cartoon.
Worcester. No, I know, but there's a human who says it.
Okay.
He is, where's he from? David Seville is the guy.
Okay. I love when
Wait a second. Did you
dad
just say they're
screams,
cartoons?
Alvin.
Okay. Do you know that Mickey Mouse, there wasn't a mouse that voiced Mickey Mouse? Do you know that or you don't know that?
I do know that. But when you say that one of the Chipmunks is from Worcester, it sounds a little weird.
So Catherine from JP texted. I'm just reading these because of your remark at the top of the show. I cannot tell you how happy I am that you're on the air live today. It just makes my endless cooking for Christmas dinner way more fun. Thank you so much for being here for us.
Oh, that's very nice.
Marjorie didn't want to be here, Catherine.
And I thought maybe I could, not be less stressed. Anonymous Texter wants to know how to spend holiday weekends. Weekdays between 11 and 2. We're going to be doing repeats, but they do the. I was really tongue I am really tongue-tied today. They are playing our repeats here at Boston Public Radio.
I was aware of that. I heard that somewhere.
So it won't be the
we
day's
call them
news.
best of, not repeats.
Best of, yeah.
Time's up.
We're going to be right back with your calls and texts, whatever today's topic
Call
is.
about tipping, will you?
He's Jim Browdy. I'm Marjorie Egan. This is BPR, GBH, and NEPM.
Humbug.
Trade.
Huge responses from across Europe, from the Danish Prime Minister.
Climate.
Picture this all filled with ice.
Security.
Not only do we need to end the war, we also need to prevent the next war.
These are global issues, and to understand them, you need a global perspective. I'm Carolyn Beeler.
And I'm Marco Werman. Join us for The World each and every weekday.
This afternoon at 3 on GBH 89.7.
Our programs are made possible thanks to you.
And Bunker Hill Community College, registering for online winter session, a 3-week session starting January 5th, designed to help students catch up on classes and get ahead. bhcc.edu/winter. And the Delaney at the Vale, a luxury senior living rental community for adults 62+, where residents choose how to spend their time with amenities and programming designed to offer opportunities for connection and learning. DelaneyAtTheVale.com.
Welcome back to BPR and GBH and NEPM. Marjorie Egan and Jim Browdy. We're live at the library, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. We are live till 1, then 1 to 2 is best of, and then we're on break until we return to a live program on January 5th. Emil had a thought about that.
Yes, he did. We are heading into 12 days of gymlessness. It's a Christmas miracle.
Thank you, Emil.
That's
Appreciate
a pretty good one.
We're doing a holiday or Christmas or whatever it is, Hanukkah, whatever it is, potpourri. And you should feel free to call with anything, particularly no tipping calls, very upsetting to me. 877-301-8097. This is a heartwarming text from Sam from Fairhaven. A bit of a different reaction in our home to your being on the air today. I switched our Alexa from Christmas music to your program, and my wife calmly but firmly said, "Oh no, not today." That's a good one. So it's headphones from me for the next 90 minutes. Thank you for that, Sam. Happy holidays and enjoy your time off.
To you too, Sam. Thank you for all your great texts.
Tell your wife you like her anyway.
Another anonymous texter is wondering if Jim is cooking a Heinemann honey ham today for the family in honor of his true love, the shot putter, Harriet Heinemann.
She's not a shot putter. She's a retired shot putter. Actually, she's not a retired shot putter because she was never a shot putter. So to the best of my knowledge. Eric in Sagamore Beach.
You should know.
What?
You should know.
Maybe I would. Eric in Sagamore Beach, you're on with me, and Marjorie didn't want to be here. Hi.
Hi, Jim and Marjorie. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to you too. What's up?
I missed the call in yesterday about the holiday desserts. I know you were talking about panettone.
Yeah, we were.
Fruitcake, but my grandmother, and I've never heard you guys mention this, made homemade plum pudding in homemade hard sauce, and it was so delicious.
Wait, what was it? Hey, Eric, you have a bad connection. What was the thing after plum pudding? What was the second?
Hard sauce.
I never.
It's like an icing almost, but it's harder than that, and it goes on top of the hot plum pudding when it comes out of the oven. It melts over it, and it was so delicious. I just had to throw that out there. I don't know if anyone makes it anymore or not, but it really is a good holiday treat.
Eric, do you have a recipe or no?
I don't, and the memory came back yesterday, so I'm going to give my mother a call and see if she might have my grandmother's old recipe.
Hey.
But she used to use the Fannie Farmer cookbook, so it possibly could be in there.
Eric, if you get it from your mother, email it to us at bprwgbh.org. We appreciate it. And happy everything to you, too. Andrew in Westford texts looking for our advice. I think particularly you.
Oh, okay.
I've been dating a new guy for the last 2 months, and when he returns to town, I want to ask him to be exclusive. I'm hoping for the best. Any advice? Wonderful seeing you at the Ryan Landry show last Thursday. Marjorie, you were absolutely lovely. Jim, not so much. Andrew, it's good to see you too. So what's your advice to Andrew?
I think you just go for it. You just go for it. Say, I really like you. Do you want to be exclusive? I mean, what have you lost? If he says no, you know it wasn't worth it. If he says yes, you're very happy.
Andrew, I have better advice.
What's your advice?
Bring him to the Jim and Marjorie show at the Boston Public Library. Tom and Swan, do you feel closer now that you've been here for 30? 4 thumbs up from that happy couple. That's the reaction most people have to coming here.
Okay.
Their relationships are even strengthened.
Improve. Okay. Kathy on YouTube wants a GBH smug mug, Jim. What can you do for her?
Hold your breath, unfortunately. Okay. It's a long story we can't share with you. Okay. Anonymous texter, Marjorie is in the best mood I've ever seen her in years. The best, and it is.
Well, it's a break. It's a break from, I mean, I have a great job, but reading about the politics for 2 hours every day and talking about it.
You're not going to read this stuff while you're on vacation?
Well, I have to somewhat, I guess. But it's been a tough news year, I guess, for some of us anyway. Okay. Joyce in Cambridge says cannabis makes the holidays joyful. There you go. That's one of her stress things. Ooh, I just got a present.
Joy. Okay, let's Joy in Wellesley.
Did they hear them say I didn't have any lemons?
Wait,
oh
what happened?
I just got 6 lemons from
Who
the
brought
Lennox
them?
Hotel.
Oh, from Lennox.
Oh. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, I don't have any ribeye steak. I ran out.
Yeah.
See what they can do over there.
The rib roasts were very expensive this year, too. We've all been talking about it.
You know where you get them? Market Basket. Unbelievable prices on rib roasts.
Okay.
I went yesterday.
I know, but the thing is,
good.
Hormones and antibiotics, Jim.
No, they have the hormone-infested and the hormone-free section.
They do not.
They do not. Joy in Wellesley, you're next, hopefully almost finishing this segment thing here. Joy, hello. Welcome and happy Christmas. Hello. Merry Christmas.
It's me. Happy Christmas, y'all.
Hi.
I want to say that I sang with the Tanglewood Festival Chorus in the BSO for about 14 years.
How lucky you are.
I met you guys actually a few years ago.
Oh. God, you guys are great.
The best.
Oh, thank you, my friend. But the best Christmas song ever is their version of the 12 Days of Christmas.
It's great.
It is so fun and funny and thoughtful.
Who's the guy, Joy, who's the guy, and I wish I knew his name.
David something, isn't it?
What's the name of the guy who writes
arranged it.
The 12 Days of Christmas for the...
I should know, too. I don't remember his last name.
Jamie, can you try to look that up? The guy's a genius. It's great.
It's so smart. It's so fun.
Do you know something, Joy? For the first time ever, I took my granddaughter to the matinee for the kids for the Boston Pops.
You love that.
And my God, Keith Lockhart was so charming and so entertaining. It was an hour long. They had Santa Claus. They had all the cartoons on the big screen. It was just brilliantly done. And little kids as young as like 3 or 4, they were just transfixed watching the whole thing go on. It was great.
There's not, by the way, the chorus is one of the great creations ever. Just absolutely
And you guys are all volunteers. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Joy,
it's a labor of love for sure.
It's great to hear from you. It's a labor of love. It's not labor. It's love being in the audience. Joy, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Nicole, our colleague, is making YouTube viewers suffer by asking if they want to hear Alvin and the Chipmunks again. People are begging the chat to vote no.
Maybe they'd like to hear the Jim Browdy Muppet Christmas Carol version.
We don't have any time for that.
Yeah, we don't have any time for that?
That's really sad.
Oh, we're out of time.
So what do you think we achieved in the first, 35 minutes
We did not get any Mr. and Mrs. Butterball questions.
Not one tipping question.
Not one. We did get a love. We got a love life question.
Did you tip everybody?
Mailman yesterday.
You did?
Yes, I did.
We call those people the deliverers of mail, not mailmen anymore.
Mailmen, okay.
Because there are some male
they're women.
people,
They're
some
women
male
too.
women, some male...
The people from the United States Postal Service.
That is correct,
who
Margaret.
deliver the mail, and we're very grateful.
We are grateful.
Snow, sleet, the heat, they do the whole thing.
Rain or whatever that thing is.
Okay, coming up after this quick break, we're going to get back to some
Whatever
real
it is.
world
I can't remember what the
talk. We're going to
thing
be
is.
joined by retired Federal Judge Nancy Gertner. She's going to talk about the Supreme Court cases coming up in 2026 and the president's kind of explosion of executive orders in 2025, what it meant for the United States. He's Jim Browdy. I'm Marjorie Egan. We'll be right back.
I'm Jared Bowen. Coming up on The Culture Show, we're celebrating the holidays with Mr. Bah Humbug. In Ebenezer Scrooge, Charles Dickens created both an antagonist and protagonist, who went from being a covetous curmudgeon to a repentant man. Today, we're serving up 2 scoops of Scrooge with actors David Coffey and Karen McDonald about what it takes to play the iconic character. That and more on The Culture Show today at 2 on 89.7 GBH.
Support for GBH comes from you.
and the Massachusetts Health Connector for Business. Premium value plans can help small business owners find and offer accessible employee health benefits. Learn more at mahealthconnector.org/business. And Boston Children's Museum, presenting their 10th annual Winter Experience, Snowmazing. Activities include a sock skating rink, a Northern Lights-inspired art installation, and a winter book nook. Tickets at bostonchildrensmuseum.org.
Welcome back to BPR and GBH and NEPM. I'm Jim Browdy. I wanted to come to work today. Marjorie did not. Live from the library and streaming at youtube.com/GBHnews. We're on tape for our annual holiday pause beginning at 1 o'clock today. We're back to live program on January 5th. One more time, we're live till 1 today. Best of us from 1 to 2 and Best of the Culture Show from 2 to 3. We're going to end today's show with some rather incredible missteps that Marjorie and I guess, engaged in unintentionally during 2025. For the latest iteration of On the Docket, we're joined now on Zoom by retired Federal Judge Nancy Gertner. Judge Gertner is a senior lecturer at Harvard Law School and a BPR contributor. Judge Gertner, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, hello to you.
Hello, Judge Gertner. Thank you for joining us. So the Supreme Court surprised some of us anyway, handing the president a defeat on National Guard deployment. What happened?
Gee, I don't know. No. It's a very narrow decision. It was sort of an interesting effort to sort of circumvent what was going on. Here's what happened. Trump federalized the National Guard for Chicago. The court takes a position that you can't federalize the National Guard unless you're unable with regular military to execute the law. And since the statute talked about regular military, you have to be talking about things that the regular military has a right to do. And nothing that is going on in Chicago meets that definition. We don't have the regular military enforce criminal law. That is a bedrock principle. So there's essentially no authority for what the troops were doing. It's a very narrow legal argument. It succeeded in stopping this injunction. In stopping the federalization, but it's a very narrow legal argument. Anything that has depended on facts, this court has had no trouble second guessing lower courts on the facts. But this is a narrow legal argument. We'll see where it applies in other situations, but it certainly was a defeat for Trump's federalization effort. I have to say, the best way to describe what Trump has been doing, broadly speaking, is a line from the challenge to federalizing the troops in California, a line from Charles Breyer. He says, the founders designed our government to be a system of checks and balances. The administration, however, makes it clear that the only check they want is a blank one.
That's a great line. By the way, he's the brother of former Supreme Court Justice Breyer, is he not?
So the excitement, some of us felt a little thrill up my leg thinking that maybe Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Barrett, Justice Roberts, who don't seem to be, sometimes I think maybe Alito and Thomas are kind of gone off the deep end in general.
Kind of gone off the deep end?
Yeah, well, just they don't seem right, kind of to me. But these people sort of seem right. Gorsuch seems, what do I know? I don't know these people. But I had a glimmer of hope that a new kind of middle might be coming
from this
forward.
one case?
Well, I'm looking for hope where I can find it, but that's probably ridiculous, I take it.
Well, I think they have thus far not intervened in the deployment of federal troops in the various cities. For the most part, they have not. This is the first time that they have done full stop. And what they're saying is that unless the military has a right to be there, you can't talk about whether they can't execute the laws. Yeah. If they don't have a right to be there to begin with, it doesn't matter. They have not been the same dealing with federalization in Washington, D.C., for example, because Washington's situation is different than other states. The president has control over the National Guard in Washington. But right now, the Oregon deployment and the California deployments have been stopped by lower federal courts, and the issue is going up to the Supreme Court at some point. But maybe this will stop the Trump administration. Who knows?
Well, I want to talk about not stopping the Trump administration and why I think they don't get stopped in a second. But before I do, I understand you say it's a narrow decision, Judge Gertner. So maybe my question is not terribly appropriate, but I'll ask it anyway. There was something a year ago, and I can't remember what the case was, where the Supreme Court shocked most of us. It might have been a voting rights case, I don't remember, where they actually did something that was good for the country. And I think the discussion we had with you is whether or not they were giving us something before they screwed us on a case that really matters. And I fear, because we're going to talk to you in a minute about a lot of cases that really matter, coming with decisions and arguments in some cases coming up in 2026, that they're throwing us a bone. Is that naive or no?
Well, I don't think that this case is a bone.
Because it's so small?
Yeah, I think that they came upon a legal issue that could link the liberals with Justice Barrett and Roberts and Kavanaugh, and so I'm not sure that this has any significance beyond this case.
Okay, I want to spend a minute on something. You occasionally get aggravated with me when I ask you the same question over and over again. So since it's the holiday season, will you not get aggravated with me? You have to say yes in advance.
I'm going to reserve judgment.
Reserve judgment.
Okay.
Very good.
One of the reasons why it seems to me that Trump continues to do unconstitutional, illegal, cruel, sadistic things is because the worst penalty he suffers is he loses a court case. And I don't, for example, Judge Boasberg, who we've talked to you a lot about, is issuing new orders around this Venezuelan thing. Marjorie and I talked yesterday. We saw the 60 Minutes broadcast that Barry Weiss killed. And this is about Venezuelans being deported from the United States, being sent to that torture prison in El Salvador. And of course, the line is they're all rapists and murderers. And the research and the report showed only 3.1% of them had ever been sentenced for a violent crime. 97% of them had not. My question is, why have lower courts, been so reluctant to find the Justice Department or individuals in contempt? Because at least my view is, if they were to do that, the Justice Department, even Pam Bondi, might think twice before doing what they do, and Trump might think twice before issuing these insane, cruel executive orders every single day.
Well, why courts in general, or why the Supreme Court?
No, why courts when their orders are violated? I know there've been threats. Has the Trump administration been held in contempt once in these 11 months that they've been in office, despite stinging, commendable decisions by some of your former colleagues?
You know, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know of any. I know that Judge Boasberg, in the case that you're talking about, found probable cause to hold the government the officers in contempt. That was then briefly set aside by the Court of Appeals over the District of Columbia, and now he's holding hearings on that. I mean, I think we have talked about this before. The question of, if you find the government in contempt, then what next? Right? If you find particular officers in contempt, civil contempt, which means that they're in contempt until they fix things.
Right.
So you can hold, for example, the officers in contempt in the Venezuelan case until they facilitate the return of the men who were wrongfully deported. Do you put Bovino and and Hegseth in the lockup until this is obeyed?
Well, but you seem, if I may, you seem to be saying, because you're not sure what the next step would be, that a judge doesn't take the first step, which basically says to the Trump administration, have at it. Do whatever the hell you want, and we may strike it down, But that, to me, that is not a horrible outcome for a guy who doesn't care, you know?
Well, no, I agree with you. I agree with you in this respect. See, I think Judge Boasberg is very close to actually make findings of contempt, and then and regardless of the what next issue. So he has found, he's at that point. He's holding hearings now, and then we can deal with the what next issue. This case in Massachusetts is raising the same issue. You all heard about this Babson College student,
yes,
who was deported, who was at Logan Airport November 21st to go to Texas. She
see her family.
Deportation she didn't know about. Claims she didn't know about. They filed in federal court November 21st. The emergency judge issues an order that says, do not take her out of the jurisdiction until we can sort this out, essentially. She is then deported the next day. That will be a contempt proceeding in Massachusetts before Judge Stearns.
Great.
She's deported the next day. So, I mean, I think, I think it also, we're what is it, 10 months into the Trump administration, 11 months?
11, yeah.
I think it took a long time for people to realize just how lawless this administration is.
So we'll follow those cases. We'll follow Boasberg and Stern.
And she's still there, as far as I know. She's not been able to come back. She's in Ecuador.
She's in Honduras.
Honduras, I'm sorry. She's in
Honduras. That's right.
Where her grandmother is, I think.
Right,
but,
right.
She's separated from her family and taken out of college. She was in college, and she was what we used to call the dreamers. We've kind of... Remember, everybody was...
Right, but she was someone who actually didn't know that she was 8 years old when the asylum petition was filed. She didn't even know, that she had lost. One of the other problems here is that, just as sort of a general problem, is, the immigration bar was not particularly strong. So who knows how they litigated the asylum issue then. But in any event, she didn't know about it. She's now swept away, deported before she could do anything about it. Ordinarily, one wouldn't be able to do much about that, except that a judge issued an order as soon as she got the case. Really quite remarkable. The case was filed at 6 p.m. on November 21st. 6:10, Justice Burroughs, the emergency judge, issued an order saying, do not take her out of the jurisdiction for 72 hours to give us a chance to litigate this. To understand this, and the next day she's deported.
We're talking to former Judge Nancy Gertner. Judge, could we go down a bunch of, fairly quickly, of major decisions that we will get by the end of June at latest from the Supreme Court, and you do a little Nostradamus and give us your sense of where these are going to go? Is that okay?
Oh, sure.
Okay, there's a case that would be, at least by my reading, the final gutting of the Voting Rights Act. A Louisiana case that would, where the argument is that the legislature unconstitutionally relied too heavily on race when creating districts. What's going to happen there?
I think that the Voting Rights Act will be decimated as a result of the decision. That's the Calais decision. For me, the only question is when they do it. They do it in January and February. It affects the 2026 election.
So if they do what you say, and a district was, according to the Supreme Court, unconstitutionally created to give adequate representation to people of color, is the legislature then in a position to redraft that redistricting in compliance?
Yes.
Jesus. So that has potential to have huge impact on the 2026 elections.
That's why I was saying that when this comes out is really critical. And I think listeners need to understand the enormity of that decision. The Voting Rights Act is really one of the signature achievements of the civil rights movement in the 60s and 70s. It was a signature achievement, and it was, many believe, perfectly constitutional under the Reconstruction Amendments, the constitutional amendments that came after the Civil War. This will be a narrowing view of what those amendments were intended to do, as well as gutting a very important piece of legislation.
By the way, I should say that your last best hope, Justice Roberts, is the one who started the gutting of the Voting Rights Act.
One of the stupidest things I ever heard him say, where he said, "There's no issue with race anymore. It's all over now. It's all over now." And moments after the decision, these southern states, where supposedly there was no more racism, moved to change the laws down there. I mean, that's what I don't understand. How can he possibly think that there's no race issue in voting anymore, or there's no racism in some of these southern states?
How do you know that he thinks that?
Well, why else would you do it?
Because you're ideologically driven, not driven by the law.
I mean, but you know, his view is that that was then, this is now.
Yeah.
That we are in a post-racial society. We therefore do not need these laws to protect people of color.
Yeah, it's either that or he's just a total, complete racist. It's one or the other. I mean, where else do you go with that? Or the rest of them that are going to do this. I mean, how can they not, when they look at, when you look at something like the new Jim Crow, look at the criminal justice system, how it's discriminated against people of color for decades and decades and decades, and still does.
Wait a second. How can you testify that you'll respect precedent and then overrule Roe v. Wade a minute and a half after you're confirmed? I wonder how they can do that.
Well, that wasn't Roberts.
Okay, well, it wasn't Roberts. It was justices confirmed who lied in their confirmations. I want to keep going down the list. Birthright citizenship should be a slam dunk, I hope. Yes?
I think that's right.
Meaning protecting it.
I think birthright citizenship will be protected, yes.
How about tariffs?
Wait, can I say one more thing about that? Because I say it every time we talk about it. The issue before the Supreme Court is not whether, if you're born in this country, you should become a citizen is a good idea. The issue is, does the Constitution, 14th Amendment, I think, require it? That's the only issue. It's not a debate about the advisability of the concept. It is a legal debate about the Constitution. I'm sorry, Marjorie, next.
Right. No, it is a constitutional provision. It is every, essentially the precedent from that moment until now. It's been accepted interpretation of the constitutional amendments, and the counter interpretation is a very dangerous one, that somehow the 14th Amendment was intended only to protect former slaves. Mm-hmm. I'm a nerd, so I read about the 14th Amendment, and it's very interesting. There certainly were some people who were talking about this, that if you pass this amendment, we will be a multiracial society. I mean, acknowledging that it was much more than just Black people that would be affected by birthright citizenship.
So what about tariffs? President Trump's tariffs?
I think the president is going to lose on tariffs. The only question is going to be how narrow the decision is, whether it'll be some wiggle room. But I think he will lose on tariffs.
And then what do they do about the money that's been collected from the tariffs?
Return it.
They're not going to do that. Why can't they? And by the way, I'm not arguing for this, but my assumption is, excuse me, they're going to split this proverbial baby. They'll rule, as you suggested, that he didn't have the constitutional authority to do what he did. He being Trump, only Congress can, but say what's done is done. Keep the money going forward. You can't collect any. Is that not a possible outcome?
I don't see how you can do that if it was an illegal act to begin with.
That's a good point.
Yep, I don't see how they can do that. So whatever the consequences, however difficult, I think the money has to be returned.
This has... Marjorie was asking about the three conservative justices and whether it's hopeful that on this Chicago case they ended up with
I've been disabused of that.
I know, but on a related question, since you are a student of the court, have Alito and Thomas ever voted on a major case in a majoritarian kind of way? I don't mean majority of the Supreme Court. I mean in a way that comports with what the Americans... Right, exactly.
Expands rights.
That's a better way to put it. Pro-expansion or protection of rights as opposed to I guess religious rights. They're in favor of that.
And gun rights.
And gun rights. So is that it? Is that essentially what...
Off the top of my head, that's all that comes to mind. Gun rights and religious rights, yes.
You know something? I'm glad you mentioned religious rights, because a while ago we talked about the fact on the abortion case where there was probably some lawsuits percolating somewhere from someone who was Jewish or someone whose religion did not say abortion was bad, because what about their religious rights? But that never seemed to, if it percolated, it didn't percolate very far.
Well, I know that there had been actually rabbi in New York who had challenged the abortion restrictions, arguing that they were the establishment of religion and that was not his religion.
Yeah.
And there had been challenges 40 years ago that I was a part of when I was practicing law, but they have never succeeded. You raise an interesting question. Why shouldn't they succeed? And partly that the premise here that this is the establishment of religion, the abortion restrictions, has never been accepted by the court. The court instead seems to be accepting the notion that there's potential life. And regardless of the religious definitions of potential life, they're prepared to say there is potential life.
Hey, Nancy Gertner, I have to say, you've been a huge contributor to the show this year, and we really look forward to many more to come. Thanks, and enjoy all the holidays.
Can I get a raise?
Yeah, actually, the check is in the mail. I hope we have your right address.
Yeah, or that ribeye. If you get a ribeye, send it to me.
It's coming. It's on its way. Good to see you, Judge Gertner.
Good to see you.
Take care.
Happy New Year, Judge Gertner. Thank you so much for all you do for us. I really appreciate it.
Can I read, before you say what's coming up, we're getting a ton of emails. I'm not going to read them because they're too nice. But like Bill from Chelmsford said, please read this text. And he thanks not just us, but more importantly, the entire crew at GBH. And thanks for how much work goes into a 3-hour broadcast. A lot of you are doing the same thing. And I'm really glad you are, because this is the time to say that the people who work on the show are spectacular.
That's right.
From the smallest
Jamie's
to
right
the
over
biggest.
there.
No, they're incredible. So, okay.
Thank you. We've been speaking with retired Federal Judge Nancy Gertner, lectured at Harvard Law School and BPR contributor, and we thank her very much for her time. We say goodbye to the folks listening at NEPM. Thanks for tuning in. Show keeps ongoing here in Boston with Harvard national security expert Juliette Kayyem. Can't get away from it. The latest revelations on the Epstein files. We'll be right back. You're listening to Boston Public Radio and GBH and NEPM, inexplicably live at the Boston Public Library.
You're listening to Boston Public Radio with Jim Browdy and Marjorie Egan. Just ahead, more smart conversation about what's going on in our community. Stay with us here on GBH 89.7.
Funding for our programs comes from you.
And Subaru of New England. The all-wheel drive 2025 Subaru Crosstrek is designed for New England terrain. Subaru retailer locations at subaruofnewengland.com. This Christmas, the nuns and nurses of Nonatus House are back to deliver more than just drama. Celebrate with everyone's favorite midwives and don't miss a very special holiday episode of Call the Midwife, tomorrow at 8 on GBH2.
You're listening to 89.7 WGBH HD1 Boston. Online at gbhnews.org. GBH News. What matters to you?
I'm Jim Browdy, head on Hour 2 of BPR, live from the Boston Public Library for this hour. Anyway, we'll be joined at the library desk by national security expert Harvard's Juliette Kayyem. She'll tell us about the local response to the Brown University shooting, a police chief on leave, and a school custodian who says he warned security about the shooter weeks in advance. Plus, Larry Summers and deeper Epstein you-know-what.
I'm Marjorie Egan. Then something uplifting this Christmas Eve. Naturalist and author, Hancock, New Hampshire's own Sy Montgomery joins us to zoom in to talk about all the quiet wins for nature and science this year. Glad somebody was paying attention to the good stuff. Jim and I were too distracted by Caroline Levitt's lip service to the public. Plus, we'll end the hour with 2 more bloopers, a throwback from our commercial radio days, and a new compilation of our finest mess-ups of 2025. It's all ahead in the second hour of BPR 89.7 GBH, inexplicably live from the Boston Public Library.
Live from NPR News in New York City, I'm Duahli Saikautal. On a Friday in September, an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer was put on leave after pushing a woman to the ground while on duty at a New York immigration court. By the end of the weekend, he was back on the job. As NPR's Jimena Bustia reports, New York Democrat Dan Goldman has been seeking information on how the officer was investigated.
In a letter shared exclusively with NPR, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tells New York Representative Dan Goldman that the agency's inspector general decided 2 months later not to open a criminal investigation. It's not clear if there is an administrative investigation. It continues to not be immediately clear also why the officer was able to return to work so quickly. The incident circulated online and prompted the DHS to place him on administrative leave, a rare instance of such a leave being publicly announced. In a statement at the time, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said the behavior was beneath the men and women of ICE. Since, DHS has not responded to questions about its own policies and procedures for investigating employee misconduct. Jimena Bustillo, NPR News, Washington.
The Justice Department says multiple documents it's released related to the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein are fake. NPR's Sarah McCammon reports the department is required to release the files under a law recently passed by Congress.
The DOJ missed a deadline to produce the files on Friday when officials published just a portion of them. More documents have been trickling out in recent days. The latest batch includes multiple references to President Trump. He's mentioned in a letter purportedly from Jeffrey Epstein to another convicted sex offender, former Olympic doctor Larry Nassar. In posts on X, the Justice Department says that although it was released by them, that letter is fake. The post highlights several apparent inconsistencies. In another post, a DOJ official says the department is required under law to release the documents in its possession, but cautions that many involve, quote, sensational tales and lies by random people. The files include letters, flight logs, and other documents accumulated by the Justice Department over many years. Sarah McCammon, NPR News.
A delayed report from the Commerce Department on GDP, the gross domestic product, shows the U.S. economy grew faster than economists had predicted. NPR's Alina Selyuk says wages are still growing, as are prices.
Even though inflation has cooled, wages and prices have sort of met in the middle, with new government data showing that personal disposable income, after inflation and taxes, was stagnant mid-year, not growing much. And then on future earnings, the latest jobs report from November saw a softening market, which has many people worried about getting a new job if they lose the one they have.
She adds, for many people, things are turning for the better, but not for everyone. You're listening to NPR News from New York.
And from the GBH Radio Newsroom in Boston, I'm Judy Ewell. Fire officials in Needham say one person is unaccounted for in the aftermath of a smoky house fire this morning. They say 2 other people inside the home made it out safely. State Fire Marshal John Davin says the fire is still active. They have not been able to get inside that building, so they'll probably remain on the scene all day. Davin is reminding everyone to be sure they have working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms and 2 fire exits in any home or building as they gather for the holidays. State police assigned to the fire marshal's office are investigating along with Needham's fire and police departments. The State Department of Public Health says an out-of-state visitor may have exposed others to measles at multiple locations in Boston and Westboro this month. Public Health Commissioner Dr. Robbie Goldstein says the adult visitor was diagnosed with measles after arriving at Logan Airport on December 11th and leaving on the 12th. Goldstein says while there's been a significant increase in the highly contagious disease in the U.S. because of what he's calling an unfortunate decrease in vaccination rates in other states, Massachusetts hasn't seen a single measles case this year. He says the state's vaccination rate means a low risk of infection for most people. And the doctor says anybody who thinks they may have been exposed to measles should call first before visiting their healthcare provider or an emergency room just so they don't put others at risk. A cloudy Christmas Eve, a slight chance of showers this afternoon, highs in the 30s. Clouds tonight, lows in the 20s. There's a chance of snow showers tomorrow, then sunny, highs in the 30s. Mostly clear on Christmas night, lows in the teens. Sunny on Friday, highs only in the 20s. Right now, 35 in Boston. This is GBH.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive Insurance. Progressive is looking for individuals in a variety of career fields who want to help build a culture of inclusiveness. More information, including application, at progressive.com/careers.
Welcome to hour number 2 of Boston Public Radio. Jim Browdy and Marjorie Egan. Inexplicably, we are here at the Boston Public Library in Christmas Eve. We are streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. We're on tape for our annual holiday pause starting at 1 o'clock today. We'll be back to live programming January 5th, but from 1 to 2 today, is a best of. So it'll be here, which just will be a repeat.
No Jared live either, we should say here today.
No, Jared's not here. And also as a special treat at the end of this hour, we'll bring you some of our finest bloopy-est
Well, there's a good one right there.
25, yeah, all the mispronunciations and all the mistakes I've made. Of course, Jim hasn't made any mistakes. So
Thank you very much.
Okay, hello
this
again,
Jim.
Jim.
This is where you say hi, Jim, and
hi,
I say
Jim.
hi, Marjorie. How are you?
Jim.
We're joined now by, I don't know, Frosty the Snowman or something at the BPL desk.
I love it.
That is very nice.
I wore my one Christmas sweater.
Santa's cutest helper.
And brought us some banana bread.
And I baked you some banana bread.
Yeah.
And to the
Really
great
good.
production team, thank you all. They're hiding behind there.
We do have a great production
They
team.
get fresh banana bread that crumbled a little bit in the car,
Okay,
but still.
as I was saying, that's Juliette Kayyem, in case you were wondering. Former Assistant Secretary for Homeland Security under Barack Obama, faculty chair of the Homeland Security Program, Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, and CNN senior national security analyst and baker extraordinaire. Hi, Juliette.
Hi, inexplicably.
Inexplicably,
Also
you're
here.
here too.
I am also here.
And you have a big party today, like in an hour. What are you doing?
In a couple hours, can I just say one thing?
No.
Am I your last guest of 2025?
No, Sy Montgomery. I'm sorry. Okay, you're our last guest.
I'm your last guest in a goofy sweater.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that sweater. It's a riot.
That had to set you back like $2 or $3 at least.
Yes,
it's
it
really
did actually.
nice.
You know
It's
that
really
store near
nice.
our house, the secondhand store?
Oh, I totally do.
That's where I got it.
We live sort of in the same neighborhood. Okay, good to see you, Juliette.
Okay, we're done with fashion and food.
We're done with fashion
now
and food.
on
and
to
Christmas briefly. Well, we're on to the Epstein files. More about former president of Harvard, Larry Summers.
Oh, yes.
Apparently, Alan Dershowitz, the famed attorney, is mentioned in some of these latest dispatches. A lot of people are mentioned in these latest dispatches, including David Brooks, the New York Times columnist.
Yeah, but let's get to the big fish in this thing with their Harvard connection. Larry Summers.
Yeah.
He's denying it. Yeah. So I should say, so the Crimson reported that at some stage he was second executor, like sort of backup executor to Epstein's estate. Summers people say, or Summers spokesperson says that he did not know he was. So I don't know what these documents are. Or was it just like Epstein wishful thinking? But I do think it shows what the Crimson, unbelievably, the Harvard Crimson has been doing great reporting.
Incredible.
I said it's just the strong ties between the university, certain people at the university, and Epstein for decades, and more importantly, after he was convicted of rape.
Can we say this, by the way? I'm so glad you said this. 2008, he pleads guilty, Epstein, to soliciting prostitution from a minor. 2008, Summers continues his relationship, and his wife apparently, Summers' wife, for as much as a decade afterwards. So they can say they ended it, I don't know what they say, before the thing in Florida, but the reality is solicitation of prostitution from a minor, and they continue. He has an office at Harvard,
which is just no
Epstein
funder has. Yeah, it was like they get these fellowships or whatever. I don't even know what the status is. It's very hard to get an office at Harvard, and it wasn't like the money he gave was crazy money. I mean, when you talk about Harvard and the crazy money that they're getting from some of our alumni,
like 100 million,
100 million here, 100 million here. This was not. So it was just a way that he worked the university, and we should say, full disclosure, WGBH produced the TV series that Larry Summers' wife was the host of, a poetry TV
and has
series.
since dropped it.
And has since dropped it. Where the funding apparently at some stage, or some of the funding came from Epstein. So their tentacles were across Boston. I mean, it looks like every institution I'm a part of, actually, now that I think about it.
The New York Times, the Daily, did a great piece, and it was off reporting in the paper, obviously, about how Epstein came to make all this money and rise to power. And he talked about how he realized early in his career that beautiful young women were a way to get him access to very powerful
men.
Rich men, and that was a lot of it. Maybe less the blackmailing that we all thought about. I don't know how we get. But anyway, that was what he was talking about.
Well, it could be all of the above. I mean, there are some people that were giving Epstein money, which is or giving them their money for him to, he was like a money manager, where you just are like, this is not making sense to me. So we don't know if he was blackmailing them with pictures or whatever else. Apparently one of the releases yesterday, his brother, or he says to his brother, I'm going to get killed here or something. Or there's a sort
Epstein
of...
says to his brother. He's on CNN, the brother, all the time.
Yeah.
It's
so,
amazing. He does interviews.
I think that they think that there's been a massive cover-up. But, the university never really formally cut ties with Epstein until it became sort of unbearable. And then the names, it's, obviously Summers is getting the main focus, but it's Dershowitz who served as his attorney. It's and then there have been allegations against Dershowitz that he denies. But others.
By Virginia Giuffre, by the way, the woman who wrote Nobody's Girl.
And who committed suicide.
Dershowitz in this Globe piece today, this is in the DOJ in a 2016 filing, he talks about how Epstein had an office at Harvard, which, as you say, is hard to get. And he talked about how he was friendly with all these academics. He lists a whole bunch of academics at Harvard that he was
and some of them show up in some of the pictures, like Steve Pinker.
And that's Dershowitz's theory about why he was accused, because he knew this guy was on his legal team and that Epstein was at Harvard. So they were all hanging around with him, I guess, at Harvard?
Yeah, or Epstein was making representations that he knew them. The list of faculty that Epstein apparently was close to is also the list of faculty that everyone knows at Harvard. So I just don't know if, Epstein may have just been a huge name dropper. There's names in that list that there's no proof that those people knew Epstein or were on the island. Maybe he gave a couple $1,000 to a program they were running. I think there's just a big difference between the ties Epstein had to some people at Harvard and as importantly to Trump than Epstein name dropping various famous faculty.
Well, it's not just Epstein, it's Alan Dershowitz, who is trying to say, I didn't do anything, despite what Giuffre said. Yes. And the way he defends himself, saying there were a ton of us who were prominent.
Right,
one last thing here, and you may not know the answer. Marjorie in particular has brought this up. We know that in the initial disclosure, there was the complaint about child porn filed by Maria Farmer, one of the survivors, that was ignored by the FBI. Every time I bring it up, Marjorie correctly brings up the fact that a lot of women had reported Larry Nassar, that doctor, for his incredible abuse, serial abuse.
And a lot of children had reported the Catholic Church is another
and the FBI
Good point.
ignored it. One of the things that drives me nuts, we talk to leaders in the state about something horrible that was done. I don't mean like this horrible, horrible misspending, screw-ups, like on the T, for example. Well, who did that, and what's the accountability? The answer is nobody. We want to move forward. Does anybody pay a price for ignoring this 1996 report by Farmer? Anybody pay a price?
It doesn't seem like it.
It's unbelievable.
I heard an FBI guy on TV last night who, said lots of these complaints come in. There's no proof that someone called and said, don't investigate it. We don't know the value of what she was saying. But the Nassar thing, the Nassar Epstein thing is like these guys are just hanging out with each other.
Hundreds and hundreds of girls and young women would not have been abused if they did their job.
Yeah. I don't know if I said this last week, but I think we sort of passed by it, and she denies it as well, so we have to be fair, but at least there was some accounting in the release that a woman was at Epstein Island, or maybe at a party with her young daughter, who was an up-and-coming model. Maybe she was 14 or 15. And Marla Maples sees them in the bathroom and goes to the mother and says, do not leave her. Do not leave her. She is, and especially around my husband, who was Donald Trump at the time.
Well, also, and Donald Trump, in one of the reports yesterday, was on a plane with Epstein and two women who were potential witnesses against Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, this is not going away. Whatever the White House is trying to do, every bad disclosure then becomes another news story, and this is just I miscalculated this. I thought this wouldn't go anywhere. We are now a year into his term, and this is not going away.
Also, when you release, like they're doing, a little piece at a time, it guarantees you're going to be in more trouble, because there's a reaction every time. Yeah. But when you talked to our colleagues, you said you wanted to spend today a lot of it on good news. We're going to get to that in a minute, because there allegedly is some.
There might be some.
Well, whatever. Before we do that, here is Brown University custodian Derek Lisi. I hope I pronounced his name right.
I love this guy.
He sat down with WPRI down there, saying he reported a suspicious person on campus the guy himself numerous times before the deadly shooting. Here is Mr. Lissy.
I told the detectives it was like I could see him and nobody else could. I just had an eerie feeling, but it was the way he was browsing in the classrooms. He was like rolling his eyes one way, rolling his eyes another way. I think maybe if they had reported it to the actual Brown Police Department, they would have came over, investigated, probably trespassed him out of the building. But then who's to say that he wasn't going to come back that Saturday when it was open access? Go with your gut feeling. You see somebody that just doesn't seem right to you, or you see something's off, call it in right away. Don't rely on telling one person. If you feel like that person didn't do their due diligence, take it a higher up and don't be scared. Just say something.
And that's the whole point of the story. They didn't say something. He reported it to the company that he reports to.
Secure or
and
something,
the quotes from the leader of the company are, not my job.
Yeah.
We had no responsibility in this area, so we told nobody. And once again, had they told somebody, it's quite possible there would not be 2 dead students and a bunch of people injured.
I mean, it shows so much. First of all, the extent to which this was pre-planned, which we knew. He had rented the facility up in New Hampshire where he ultimately committed suicide in November. He's casing Brown throughout the weeks before. He is having interactions with this guy that you just had on air. That guy clearly feels guilt and had reported it to who he thought was someone in authority, should have reported it to the Brown police. But it does show that well, 2 things. One is these communities do know, and people who work these communities do know when something doesn't seem right, like someone's casing a joint or whatever. And then also, as we now know, the Brown University Police Department head is on paid leave, which is just natural. You have to do that. I mean, of course, we don't know what he knew. We don't know what happened, but you don't lose 2 students, on a Saturday.
Yeah, I guess there have been issues about him before this. The guy that was head of the Brown Police Department, and 2 of them at the top, I think, had been criticized. But I don't know enough about it to know if the criticism was legitimate or not.
So we can go to good news. And I want to start.
Let's go to some good news.
This is Juliette's suggestion.
How long's the show today?
It's not long.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I don't have that much good news.
Well, the
I
good
just
news
wanted
is,
to.
I'm going to start. I actually have one.
Okay,
this is fabulous news. If you care about drug prices, and we've talked about it a lot, it's a real problem. We don't credit Trump a lot. Here's Donald Trump, and actually, this is not the one I thought. It was my fault. But this is still good. This is from a while ago, a couple of months ago, him talking about lowering drug prices, which I think is really good news. Here he is.
It'll be numbers that nobody can even imagine. We're going to get the drug prices down, not 30 or 40%, which would be great, not 50 or 60. No, we're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%. Numbers that are not even thought to be achievable because I've used a certain talent that I have.
He said it again yesterday, and he actually went even further, and you got to give him credit. He said 1,000, 3,000%.
That's
now,
right.
Marjorie, you're really good in math.
Really good in math.
So let's assume a particular drug costs, let's say $20. Okay?
Oh, God, don't put a 2 in it. Don't put a 2 in it, 10.
If he brings,
10.
If he brings the price down 7,000%, what will it cost you?
I think you get a refund for $6,990.
Okay.
She can't do it.
And $90.
What good news? That was my good news.
Okay.
What good news do you bring to the table?
A couple things. I mean, I think there's exciting things going on despite what's happening despite what's happening in the federal government in terms of innovation of the American public. I mean, we saw it yesterday with the Supreme Court citing essentially with governors about the use of the military in the U.S. I don't know why.
Nancy Gertner said it was a narrow decision.
It's a decision. I will take any decision at this stage, and I think you're going to see more and more checks on the president in the years in the upcoming year, as we said, in terms of as Nancy said, in terms of tariffs. There's interesting things going on in industry. I'm excited about things like clean energy, even though it's not going to get a boost. I think that when states like Texas are fully committed to it, I think it shows that whatever Trump does to try to minimize the market is going to come back soaring. And that's not just clean energy. Well, it's not just clean energy, but it's clean energy, but it's also things like fusion and other things that I think are going to really solve is a little strong, but really minimize our carbon footprint in the world, I think is a good thing.
It's snowing.
And it's snowing, so that means that it can still snow.
Can still snow.
What else am I excited about?
Can I just say so far, if I may, this is, I don't want to judge, this is one of the most feeble attempts at good news that I've ever heard. No, but continue.
I know,
doing
but what
great.
else? I mean, what else do
You're
we
doing
have?
great. Well, how about the midterms, for example?
The midterms are coming up. I'll do a little.
prognosis.
I mean, oh God, you do not want me doing
Yes, we do.
because
We'd
I've
like you
been
to.
so off.
Me too.
I don't know. I watched this stuff. It looks like the GOP is having an issue with sort of on the spectrum of racist, like where do they want to be? I'm not joking there.
little
I mean, this
racist,
is really
a lot
about Nick
racist.
Fuentes. The party is convulsing, or at least some element of the MAGA is convulsing over Nick Fuentes. Like, I mean, is this a hard one? I don't know. I think, so that's one thing. I think something I'm grateful for, which took a lot of work and a lot of pain on people's parts, is that there is a legitimate conversation about what's happening to the Palestinians and within the Democratic Party, which should continue given, as I've said often, given what I view as Biden and his people's culpability and sort of expending the Palestinians. I think that's important for a party that should support human rights. And so I think you're going to see fissures in the party that are probably pretty natural in many ways. I think in a good way. And I'm really super excited about like some of this new leadership. I think it's
like who?
Time. Well, I like the governor in Virginia, I like the governor in New Jersey, I like the mayor of New York. They're all politically different, but they're all super exciting. And maybe.
What do you think of your guy? You're from California. What do you think of Newsom?
I like Newsom.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I am like the last person to say where the party is, because I'm like I feel like I don't get the vibe, but like I think anyone who's going to take on Trump for the party rather than the mealiness that we get from a lot of the DC leadership is key. And I think people are responding to Newsom for that reason. Do you know who I really like, who I hope takes on Schumer, or if Schumer resigns, is Schatz from Hawaii. He's my I want him to be my leader. I think people should watch him. I don't think he's going to run for president, but I think if Schumer decides after the midterms that he's no longer going to be a leader of the Senate,
He may not have a
Dems.
job after the midterms.
You think he's going to?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
AOC.
AOC. So
can I add something positive to the list? I think, and now I started with the drug price thing because I'm trying to be kind. Mm-hmm. How good do you feel that we're now going to have battleships named after Donald Trump? And you know, it's, you know, the serious part of this to me, I said this yesterday, but I thought a lot about it last night. I read much more about it. This guy has proposed billions. Affordability was the point of that ridiculous speech that he rammed through the other night. And to me, his first major pronouncement after talking about affordability for average people is, I'm going to build billion-dollar battleships named after me, called, I think, the Golden Fleet, of course, with technology. This is what I read last night. None of which exists.
None of it exists.
The lasers, all this other stuff exists.
And he didn't mention that he has closed down 2 different Navy construction contracts, saying that they're taking too long.
Shipbuilding?
Shipbuilding.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's 2. The Navy is going back to cutters for a variety of reasons. The smaller ships, faster ships. But this is again just like the Kennedy Center. It's like his putting of his name on it is the reason for doing it. It's simply that is all he cares about, and it's the sign of someone whose ability to, I think, rise to his role, and also his, I think his behavior over this last year, it is safe to say, shows someone who's losing capacity to lead, let alone to, I think, function. I think it's going to be much more normal in 2026 to not caveat how is Trump's health. But
let me say one thing about that. I'm obsessed with not just his cognitive decline. The fact I'll do a Marjorie Egan. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. To say that there's a mental health problem with the President of the United States which has potential to be incredibly dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Most recently, I asked the governor yesterday, and while she danced a bit, while she ultimately said, I agree with everything you said, without specifics, why is there such an unwillingness to say, somebody has got to say something about this? Because, okay, it's not really dangerous when he does tariffs. It's just painful economically. He could do things. I mean, for example, if he decides to attack Venezuela,
which he will. I think I think he will. I think it's very likely he will. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened over this holiday break.
But it may be that the invasion may be declared by an insane individual.
With
That's
no
scary.
plan and a unqualified Secretary of Defense. I agree with you. But I am starting to see it more, not just on Twitter, not just on the Substacks and stuff that you. I see ABC reporters, like sort of that your sort of more national reporters beginning to say, this is what he said in the speech. It made no sense, and things like that. So
no, they're doing better.
We don't. Yeah, it's hard to ignore at this stage.
Okay, so end with 15 positive seconds before we say goodbye.
This has been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
I know. It is a pleasure.
You guys are
it's a
so
pleasure
fun,
for us
and
too.
I have fun coming here.
Well,
It's the most consistent thing of my week. Like Wednesday at noon. So it's really great.
We love having you. It's here for Juliette Kayyem.
Yay!
And she's
second to last guest of 2025.
We'll be back next year.
Of the year.
And we never talk about the best book title we've ever.
Thank you. Always talk about it.
Okay, give us a title.
Wait, my
Your
title?
book, the book.
The Devil Never Sleeps.
Devil Never Sleeps,
I'm on deadline for the update at the end of January. I got to update
that. Okay, you better get out of here then.
I know. Bye.
Nice to see you.
And Pace the Rage. That was one of the great lines of all time. And I've been trying to live by that ever since you first said it, like 10 years ago, whenever that was. I'm pacing, not very well. Thank you very much, Juliette.
Good to see you, Juliette.
And thank you for the banana bread. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We've been speaking with Juliette Kayyem, former Assistant Secretary for Homeland Security under Barack Obama, Faculty Chair of Harvard's Kennedy School of Government Homeland Security Program, CNN, Senior National Security Expert.
Before you say Sy's coming, can I say something? I screwed something up. We intended to have the great Livingston Taylor on with us this week, and I screwed it up. So I just want to say, one, when he's with us in January, he is actually going to be the voice of Winnie the Pooh on a new cartoon series, which is great. But more urgently, Saturday night, he is performing at the City Winery with a former student of his, Chelsea Berry. That's December 27th at 7:30, citywinery.com/Boston. He's a wonderful soul and a wonderful performer.
He is. He's a great guy. Coming up after this quick break, naturalist and author Sy Montgomery is going to be here for our final 2025 edition of Afternoon Zoo. She's got some good news, too, for the environment and the animal world. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Browdy. You're listening to BPR 89.7 GBH, inexplicably live from the Boston Public Library, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News.
Learn something new.
I want to start with how crowds of people can act like fluids.
Yes.
What?
This is physics, so I love it.
Make a connection.
I have no idea who they voted for. I don't care. This tailgate in particular, everybody's welcome.
Dig a bit deeper.
We're often looking for a small secular liturgy for our lives, and poetry can provide that sometimes.
Stay curious with All Things Considered from NPR News.
This afternoon at 4 on GBH 89.7.
Our programs are made possible thanks to you.
And the International Institute of New England, welcoming and supporting refugees and immigrants in the community for more than a century. Learn more at iine.org. And the Museum of Science, where their Fun for All Ages seasonal exhibit, All Aboard, Trains at Science Park, is now open, featuring trains, interactives, and magic. Tickets at mos.org/engine.
Welcome back to BPR. Marjorie Egan, Jim Browdy, live at the library, streaming youtube.com/GBH News. We're only live for another 30 minutes. 1 to 2 will be best of, and 2 to 3 will be Best of the Culture Show with Jared Bowen. We're back live. We'll have, Best of programming for the next week or so. We're back live January 5th of next year, back in the library January 6th, Tuesday. We're joined now on Zoom by naturalist Sy Montgomery for the Afternoon Zoo. Sy, as you know, is the author of many books on animals. Her latest is For Kids and the Young at Heart, The True and Lucky Life of a Turtle. Happy Christmas, happy holidays, Sy. It is great to see you. Welcome.
Hey, Sy Montgomery, she's holding up our Boston Public Radio mug, Jim.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, and look how they captured both of you so beautifully.
Nice.
What's the name of that guy who drew that? Nick Shea is the guy, the artist and the performer. We thank Nick for that.
So let's start out with something that I think is really neat that this Pennsylvania bill put forward about pets being family members. We don't do this in Massachusetts. I think we should. But tell us what they want to do in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, this is terrific. This has passed the House of Representatives and is waiting for the Senate. And it elevates pets to the status of living beings recognized as cherished family members and not inanimate property in divorce settlements. Now, it's only divorce settlements. This doesn't affect, if somebody does something awful to your dog. It's just in divorce settlements. But it gives the child, it gives the pet kind of the rights of a child to, who's going to give the animal the best life.
Yeah.
Instead of, the nasty person that just wants to keep the dog so that his or her spouse can't have it. You know what I mean? So that's great. And I think
it's great.
Way to more rights for feeling animals.
By the way, we looked up after we read this story, there are about 10 states that have something similar to this. We do not, by the way.
We
here
have,
in
and 3 of them are New England states, Maine, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island.
But I want to read
what's the matter with us?
What's in just quickly, in the New York State legislation, the opening line says, for many families, pets are the equivalent of having children. Which is, we talk about that a lot on the show. I know how you feel there, Sy Montgomery. So I agree with you. If this starts a trend in the other 40 states and expands the rights of animals, it'd be a great thing.
Yeah, the dog wants to see both sides of the family, and why shouldn't the dog get to see both sides of the family?
Absolutely.
And the dog will not be taking sides in the divorce. It'll be like the wife's family is on the wife's side, the husband's family is on the husband's side. The dog will remain neutral, which will be really great. Anyway, okay.
Or neutered.
Or neutered. That's right.
Thank you for that, Sy Montgomery.
Okay, and here's another bit of good news for dogs. Immunotherapy and vaccines. What is this about?
Yeah, this is exciting. I was real excited when I saw this. There's a number of places that are testing vaccines that appear to be really effective in fighting some of the most aggressive cancers. Thurber is right here. I think he really knows I'm talking about dogs.
Thurber is a fabulous dog, by the way. We've met Thurber a number of times. Great.
Boy.
Go ahead.
Oh, my baby boy. Yeah, there's 3 kinds of cancers that these vaccines are now in trials in live dogs who are sick. These aren't dogs that they have made sick in a laboratory so they can test human stuff on. These are dogs who really are sick, really need treatment, and they are getting treatment at these clinics. And the 3 cancers, one is this horrible aggressive bone cancer, another is aggressive cancer of the lining of the blood vessels, and another is a bladder cancer. And there's something called the Canine Cancer Alliance, and they're funding the trials for 600 pet dogs at 11 different clinics. And it looks like not only is this effective, extending an animal's life 100% more than they would get with current treatment, which would be chemo and radiation and surgery. This is so much gentler to just get one little vaccine. Well, that would be fabulous. Anyway, I thought that's great.
For a couple of, I learned something in this piece in the, I don't know where it was, but that you knew this, obviously, Sy. Cancer is the primary cause of death for dogs. 1 in 3 dogs will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. And if you have the money, which not many people do, traditional therapy, if you do it, radiation for dogs, it says, can cost $10,000. Surgery and chemo can run from $10,000 to $20,000. But the belief is that if this immunotherapy thing works, while it's still not cheap, it reduces the cost to somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500, which obviously is, well, not wildly affordable, a lot better than $10,000 or $20,000.
Yeah, it totally is, and is more effective.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
gosh, I would go sell my liver to help Thurber.
Believe me, we know you would.
But I mean, it's a used liver. It's a 67-year-old liver. So maybe not worth all that much. But goodness, this is great. And you know, because our bodies are very much like the bodies of fellow mammals, and we share 90% of our genetic material with other mammals, except for the few marsupials and the egg-laying mammals. It's a little under 90. You know, anything that benefits animals is going to benefit us too. And I also just saw this study like minutes ago that said, showing how valuable dogs and cats are to our lives.
Yes.
There was a study showing that it boosts your happiness to have a dog or a cat as much as getting married or having a $90,000 raise.
Wow.
That is
That is a great little number. You know something though, Sy, you're not a vet, I know, but I've heard mixed things about chemotherapy for dogs, that some people have been told by their vets, and each case is different,
Why, too
obviously,
much suffering?
that it's not worth it. It's not just because of the money, but because of the discomfort to the dog.
Meaning it's more for the human than
and so what do? Is there like a pet ombudsman for like cancer cases for dogs? Or cats?
I don't think there is. I think a lot of vets don't want to push you into doing something that's going to cost a whole lot of dollars. Yeah. But then also many people do feel like, you know, I want my dog to be by my side, even if it's uncomfortable. And I think it varies with the animal and it varies with the person. I remember my first two dogs, who lived a long time. Tess lived to be 16, and we had to put her down. And I wondered, like, would I even know when this was going to happen? But when my father died, and he died in his 70s, he really loved being alive even when he was confined to his bed. He just loved life so much.
Yeah.
And then there's other people who would feel like, you know, I don't think I want to live if, you know, fill in the blank, all my hair fell out, or, you know, I need to use a wheelchair or whatever. I mean, everybody has their own feeling about life. But having been really sick alone overseas, not even in a hospital, in some crummy place, when I'm sick at home, I am so happy that I am in a bed and my dog is right there, and my husband is right there. And life is just so precious, I think, to some animals and to some people. Every last moment on this glorious earth is worth fighting for.
You know, when you said you were so glad Thurber was there, I was afraid you were not going to say, and we're glad that Howard was there too. But you slipped that in, so it worked out pretty well.
She certainly did.
You know, I'll state the obvious thing. Well, what you said is typical, beautiful Sy Montgomery, is you get to make that. Well, unfortunately, in a lot of parts of the country, you don't get to make that choice. But the pet, as you obviously doesn't. And I agree with Marjorie. It'd be great if there was some. Well, I guess you can hopefully trust your vet if you've been.
I remember taking my dog to the vet, and I think sometimes we don't realize how sick the dog is because you see the dog every day. And I remember taking my 16-year-old dog to the vet after a problem. The vet says to me, you know, there's a lot going on with this dog. And I said, well, what do you mean? Do you mean I should put him down? She said, well, I'm not telling you that, but there's a lot going on with this dog. And I knew what she was telling me. She was telling me he's at the end of his rope. And I think you often, because you want to keep the dog with you, like you want to keep a human being with you that you love, you don't see it if you see them day to day to day, like someone who sees them maybe, you know, once a month or something for their checkup too, you know?
Yeah, that's totally true. And we bring that to all of our relationships, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And in a way, you know, it's giving your heart to them, and there's a sweetness to that. even though it sometimes can make us kind of blind to things that maybe we should see.
You know, Sy, before we continue, I have to ask Marjorie a quick question.
Yes.
Mo from Framingham texts, "It is snowing behind Jim. Looks just like a Hallmark movie." What do you think of that, Marjorie?
It does, Jim.
You look
I've been
at me.
meaning to say that. I
It's
look out.
Hallmarkian.
Yeah,
It is
like you get a big
Hallmarkian.
red bow behind your head and all that.
Should put it right on my head. Okay, back to Sy Montgomery.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Highlights. Good things are happening quietly, as you point out in your note to us, for climate and nature. So let's hear some more good news. We had Juliette Kayyem trying to tell us some good news. I don't know if there was that much good news.
There was a little. There was some.
It was tough, but you do have some genuine good news, I understand. So what is it?
Oh man, there is some really good news out there for lots of critters. I mean, there's also bad news, but many people don't realize the great news for sharks and sea turtles and tigers. For one, green sea turtles and Myrtle at the New England Aquarium, the 90-year-old queen of the giant ocean
Myrtle
tank, is
the
a
turtle.
Bless her heart. Thanks to decades of conservation, since the Endangered Species Act passed in like 1972, they were actually listed in 78. But green sea turtles are making an incredible comeback. There used to be so many green sea turtles, this astonishes me, that at the time of Columbus, sailors could tell they were getting near islands at night in the Caribbean and Indian Oceans by the sound of the turtles breathing.
Oh, God.
And by knocking into their shells.
Wow.
That was how many there were. And then they were almost at the edge of extinction in 1978. And thanks to guarding nests and punishing egg poachers and preventing people from eating them and rearing and releasing hatchlings, reducing light pollution, the creation of turtle excluder devices, now there's something like 90,000 females nesting globally. And this is fantastic. And the same comeback is happening in some areas, particularly in Florida, for leatherback sea turtles who are critically endangered. And they've declined over 40% over the last 3 human generations. But in Florida, they had the best nesting season ever, with more than 2,000 of these endangered turtles nesting, which is fantastic. And for the same reason, the Endangered Species Act, it takes so long with a long-lived animal for this, for the protections to bear fruit, but they are bearing fruit. And the same good news is true for tigers, another one of my favorite animals. And I've written about tigers, and when I first wrote a book about tigers, they were just in a terrible low point. Most of the world's tigers live in India, and that's where I was working. But now it turns out that in India, the population of Bengal tigers has doubled inside of a decade.
Why?
Wow.
Why? What are they doing?
Well, Project Tiger, which was started in 1973, has been very successful. But now for a while, people were pressured to report higher numbers of tigers than there actually were, and that was what was happening when I was in India in the 90s. But now they've got really strict controls. They're working with local people in the villages where tigers live. And this is amazing when you think what a poor country India is, with over 1 billion people. And more than 60 million people live in tiger habitat. And the fact that India, this poor country, has been able to do this is so inspiring for the rest of us. And for a country like the United States, that shows, we really could go to town once we get some leadership that can grow a vertebrae or two.
I think we would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Anything else?
Well, let's talk about the shark and ray thing. And I was nervous when we read about this story, which you'll describe to us this morning. I immediately feared, like so many international efforts to do good things, that the U.S. had opted out of this. But Jamie and our colleagues did a little research, and in fact, the U.S. is part of this deal. What are they doing with sharks and rays, Sy Montgomery?
Yeah, this is great news. CITES, at the tail end of last month, there's a big conference of CITES, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. And this is over 199 governments that come together to decide what kind of commerce can and can't be done with endangered species. Can you sell them? Is there a quota? And what they finally did, and this is long overdue, is that they banned commercial trade for a bunch of really endangered shark species, like oceanic white-tip sharks, who I've met in the water, and manta rays, and devil rays, although I think they look like angels. They're also protecting other sharks, but they're giving Appendix 1, which is the highest level of protection, to those that I mentioned. And also whale sharks are being protected. These are these beautiful sharks that they don't bite you. They're plankton feeders. They're really sweet sharks. They look like a galaxy going by. They're dark with like little starry spots on them. The most beautiful thing. They're huge. That's why they're called whale sharks, and harmless. And they are being protected as well. And this is crucial because their numbers have been slashed because of one, shark finning. Everyone has heard about this. This is for largely an Asian market.
Soup and things, right?
And gill plates. Their gill plates, their gills are how they breathe. Somehow this got into the traditional Chinese medicine pharmacopoeia as something that can cure, oh God, what was it? Chicken pox. I mean, this soap totally does not cure your chicken pox. Also, cancer totally doesn't cure your cancer. So this beautiful animal, some of whom can live to 70 years, gets murdered, and you don't even get well. In fact, you're taking this garbage instead of getting treatment for your cancer or treatment for your chicken pox. So no longer can they be targeted for that legally. That's not a legal fishery for them anymore, which is really fabulous. So they're going to get the same protections as like tigers and scarlet macaws and mountain gorillas.
Well, that's good. I hope RFK Jr. can't mess that up.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Maybe think shark
cures.
gills. Yeah. So I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And
you were
thank
the best,
you so
Sy
much.
Montgomery.
People
we love you.
to hear from you, because you brighten our mood every week, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, right back at you.
Okay.
And here's cheers. Have the best Christmas.
Thank you much. Same to Howard and Thurber and everybody else in that wonderful house of yours.
Thank you,
Take
Sy
care,
Montgomery. We have been speaking with Sy Montgomery, naturalist, author of many books on animals. Her latest book is for kids and the young at heart. We were just talking about turtles. This is a great book, The True and Lucky Life of a Turtle, all about a good friend, Fire Chief, that Jim and I actually met up in New Hampshire. After this quick break,
huge snapping turtle.
It was a huge snapping turtle, that's right. Coming up after this quick break, we're going to end our final live hour of 2025 with 2 blooper reels, 2 more bloopers. One from our days at our now defunct commercial radio station, where I kind of get everything wrong, and the other one from just the last few months of our time here at GBH. Maybe you can tell the difference. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Browdy, listening to BPR 89.7 GBH, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News.
This is Oedipus. After the year that we have had, allow me to transport you to another realm of peace, love, and understanding. A world of magic and charm, with a soundtrack of songs that you have not heard, but with melodies that will embrace you, that recall a time of longing and caring and family. A spirit of togetherness and compassion, our humanity. Christmas Eve with Oedipus, tonight starting at 6 on GBH 89.7.
Support for our programs comes from you.
And Direct Tire and Auto Service, offering a full range of services including brakes, shocks, diagnostics, and oil changes. Direct Tire and Auto Service, not just service, customer service. DirectTire.com. And the Cambridge Homes, a nonprofit, independent, and assisted living community in Cambridge, offering residents supportive services as well as cultural, educational, and social programs. thecambridgehomes.org/tradition.
Welcome back to BPR. Marjorie Egan and Jim Browdy live from the library, streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. We're on tape as of 1 o'clock today, as is Jared after us. We'll return live on January 5th of, obviously, of next year. It's time for our final 2 more things of the year. And as I don't know if it's a treat. I think a treat to all of you who suffered through this segment for the rest of the year, which Marjorie and I are frankly not crazy about. We're going to play some of our worst BPR moments back to you. It's exactly what you're asking for. But first up, as Marjorie said, this is a throwback to a blooper reel. We used to do them. Do we do them every Friday on the old show?
I think this is before I went.
What's that, John?
Every Friday.
Every Friday, John was with us. By the way, does everybody know?
I made a lot of mistakes. This is before I went to speech class, I think.
John the Claw Parker and we worked together at the old station. I don't know if people know that.
Thank God.
It was our now defunct WTKK radio station, and the person who put together the blooper reel then was our producer, Matt Shear. Whatever happened to him?
Big star at WBZ.
Boy, is he ever. Okay, here's the blooper reel from our former life at WTKK.
Parents were clearly drunk, don't you think, Jim? Jim? Oops.
Jim?
You're not Jim.
Jim?
You're not Dean either.
Thanks.
You're Jim.
Living up to her expectations.
Yeah, there's a barcode now, Jim.
Whatever.
Jim.
Who?
Jerry, I didn't mean to
Jerry.
call you Jerry.
Okay, fine. Bob, thanks for
that
the call.
That was a great call.
It.
Bob, Bob's
I'm
gone
Jim.
now.
Bob
You're
is
Jim.
the caller.
Jim.
Here's one for you, Jew, being...
Jewby?
Jim.
Excuse me, here's one for Jew?
That's the problem, Jim. We did not attend. Never
My
mind
name is
graduate.
not Dick. Dick is the other guy.
Dick.
Now, thank you very much. It's aggravating me, the bell. Okay, so the great debate.
I've only just begun.
No, it's really Jim. I'm not Mitt.
You're totally right, Jim. Jim Romney. Jim Browdy.
I'm Jim Browdy.
Totally unfair. Mitt Romney. Jim Browdy over here. Whoops, I almost called Jim
That's
Mitt Romney.
close. That's in next
Jim
week.
Browdy and Matt. Matt.
I'm Jim.
We're just getting fatter and dumber, Liz. Whoops, you're not Liz.
Wait a second. Do we get that, by the way?
Really,
that was a pun, by the way.
I noticed that, Bill.
Thank you.
Very Bill. Whoops, Jim.
I'm Jim.
That was very
Bill's
clever.
the other guy. He'll be here tomorrow.
Wasn't that another Democrat that did that, wasn't it, Bill?
Terrence, thanks for the call. I'm Jim.
Sorry, you're not Bill, you're
no,
Jim.
You're not Bill. Bill's
Sorry.
Clinton.
Well, actually,
was that you said
actually,
that?
Jim, you are wrong.
I'm not Bill, by the way. I'm Jim.
No,
Thank you.
Bill, Jim. Well, what's the percentage, Bill? Bill. Whoops, you're Jim.
Bill, can you come in for a second?
Billy.
Billy.
Day 2 of mourning post Super Bowl disaster. I am Jim Browdy. I'm not Jim Browdy, actually. I'm Marjorie Egan. He's Jim Browdy. The unconditional love thing, John. Jim, that's the deal.
John will be in a couple of minutes.
I'm sorry, John. Jim.
Whatever. Let me ask you, how is that possible?
I don't know.
There was one.
Before I went to speech class.
That was brilliantly put together by Matt, our former producer, and now, as you say, Star BZ.
That was 1 week.
But incredible. There was one show.
Week?
Forget 1 week. There was one show.
Yeah.
How long was our show then? Well, we were many. 1 hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. There was one show in which she called me Liz. Who's Liz?
My sister.
You called me Harry. Who's Harry?
My dog.
Or former dog.
Yeah.
Peter. Who's Peter?
My former husband.
Exactly. And and Bill. All in the same. Yeah. Within the confines of one particular show.
I don't know why I did that.
And you notice who was on that blooper reel, Marjorie?
Who?
Well, who is not on the blooper reel?
I don't know.
Who had no bloops?
Oh, well, you did have some bloops, but they picked on me.
They didn't make it onto that reel, did it?
Yeah, they put all my bloops on it because they knew you couldn't take it, Jim.
Okay, well, apparently that courtesy to me ended. In case you thought I never made a mistake, apparently, I find this hard to believe, our colleague Hannah Loss, who Jamie caught working late in the night to get it done for today's show, there is that small difference apparently, and it's probably fake news. There are a couple of times where I misspoke too. Here are our blooper reels right here at Boston Public Radio. Whoops, are we on? Oops, I was...
Oh no, I'm in the wrong place. I've goofed this up.
Whoops, I lost my page here. Jim, can you find? Yes, I can.
What's the number, Jim? 877-301-8979.
No, it's a very new number, that's why.
This week and later in today's show.
Next week.
Is it next week? It's not going to be this week?
This sort of Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be next Wednesday, a few days from now, 5 days from now. Got me all boggled up.
Just show
here.
up whenever you want. She'll be here.
Yeah, she'll...
Dicky. No, we know how to pronounce this. Thank you.
You need to understand, bless you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
If you're alone in the kitchen, nobody will see.
Yeah.
I roll my underwear. You don't roll your underwear?
I do now.
You always need toilet paper nearby. That's my motto.
This is a song about wood. The finest wiener experience of your life.
Okay, I don't know if I would have read that.
Now,
Whoa! Could a dill pickle be a side pickle?
Could be.
Can a kosher dill be a side pickle?
Could be. My point is, Jim, any of them could be on the side of the plate.
I think that the person who's eating gets to do their own whacking. That's how I feel.
You think the wacky should be the person?
The wacky should get to be unwhacked so they can whack their own food. Well, my father had the mumps.
My father had the mumps.
Let me just say one thing, but let me just say this. Can I just say one last thing? And that's how I feel. Let me just say one thing. Well, can I just say one thing? I do have to walk into my house sideways.
I'm sure you're pretty annoying, Jim.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh. Crack addict to cocaine.
Yeah.
Hope is never lost.
Not crack addict to cocaine.
Marjorie, what has you in stitches, Marjorie?
Apparently, we're also going to hear from Jim's former girlfriend, noted shot putter. I can't come on.
I'm not helping you.
You know, it is fairly amazing that we have a job, you know? If you combine what happened in the past, and we obviously have not grown as much as one might think.
Yeah.
How long have we been here, like 13 years or something at GBH?
Since 2013.
So that's 12 years.
12 years,
12,
that's right, that's
13
correct.
Years, et cetera.
Yep, no, I think we've come a long way, Jim.
Okay.
We've improved. But I always tell people, you know, just because you can't talk
doesn't mean you can't have a radio
career
show
on the radio. So
Okay.
out there, people that mispronounce everything and have trouble and
Come on
stumble
down.
over their words, come on down. You never know.
Okay, we're done.
Yes, I want to thank everybody very much. Our team, Zoe Matthews, Aidan Conley, Nicole Garcia, Hannah Loss, our engineer, John the Claw Parker, our executive producer, Jane Bologna, the BPL staff, Brandon Cardley, Patrick Lally, Olivia Corsillo, all the people over at the Newsfeed Cafe, all the people across the street at the Lennox Hotel, everybody back at GBH. It helps us all the time. Like the engineers, like Sy Patel that came to my house to fix my printer and went to your house to fix everything. Who went
Josh
to your house?
actually went to
Josh
ours,
went to your
yeah.
house. All these people that put this show together, the IT people, everybody else, we really appreciate it. And I just have one final question before we leave.
Why are we here today?
Why are we here today?
Rick
That's
in Charlestown says, at first I couldn't tell that was a blooper reel. Thought it was just another show.
That's
You're
right.
all fantastic. Thank you very
You know,
much.
what you have to do, Jim, you have to be yourself. You know what I mean? You can't, I mean, that's my problem. I can't talk.
Can I say what you said?
What? What did
Since
I
this
say?
is our last minute of the year, we say it all the time. I don't think people who haven't done this know it. We are lucky enough. Well, we take the blame when there's a disaster. We get all the credit for when it's good. The people who make this show possible, it's not just our colleagues who we mention almost every single day. Is scores of people here across the
come down to
street,
Boston Public
back in
Library
Brighton.
today.
It is really, really. We can't thank you enough. We are thrilled to be able to have you to be part of this little BPR family, and we thank you all. Hope everybody's got a great Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and all that sort of thing. We're really proud and thankful that you're there.
We're going to keep going for another hour. It is
We
going
are.
to be on tape. We'll be back here. There's going to be a repeat all during the Christmas vacation. We'll be back here live on January 5th.
One last thing.
Yes.
I just got a text. The firefighters in Brookline want to know when they should be at your house this afternoon.
Anytime
When
they
you
want
put
to
the
come.
tenderloin in the
Anytime.
oven.
We're ready.
Stick around. There's the best of for an hour, then a best of the culture show. We'll see you in January. Have a wonderful New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Gift of GBH. With a GBH gift membership, your loved one will enjoy access to GBH Passport, discounts on local businesses and events, and more. So, support and share what you love. Learn more at gbh.org/gift membership. Support for GBH comes from you.
And Cape Cod Senior Residences, a senior community in Bourne featuring research-based arts, fitness, and learning programs designed to help seniors stay independent. Learn more at capecodSeniorResidences.com. And the University of Massachusetts Amherst. UMass, the state's flagship public research university, empowers students to be the future in the pursuit of progress for Massachusetts and beyond. More at umass.edu.
You're listening to 89.7 WGBH HD1 Boston. Online at gbhnews.org. GBH News. What matters to you?
I'm Jim Browdy, ahead on hour 3 of BPR. Since Marjorie has a beef tenderloin to prepare for her family this Christmas Eve, I relented and allowed her and her staff to leave a little early today. So we're on tape this final hour listening to a recent conversation with Kelly Beatty, senior editor at Sky and Telescope, and Dr. Mario Mata on keeping our skies clear so we can all enjoy the magic of the stars.
I'm Marjorie Egan, very, very grateful to Jim Browdy for letting me get out of the city a whopping 59 minutes early today, since I'm off to cook that tenderloin. For 10, we'll listen back to a conversation with legendary chef and cookbook writer Jacques Pepin. And then we'll end this Christmas Eve show with a musical performance from Cat Wright.
Canadian Brass with Christ Redeemer of All from Monteverdi's Christmas Vespers. You can find a ton of interesting information about this and other pieces on our website. We've got a blog post called Classical Christmas Favorites Explained. And it's got this interesting tidbit about the piece you just heard. Apparently, when Monteverdi wrote it in the early 1600s, it was less about celebrating Christmas and more about showing off how he could write all different types of church music. Hey, it paid off. He landed a big job at St. Mark's in Venice soon after, and we get to enjoy his work every Christmas. Read more at classical.org. Here's the Canadian Brass again with the Berlin Philharmonic Brass Ensemble and the Magnificat by Charles Theodore Pachelbel, a different Pachelbel than the one you're used to.